This is the iRacers Lounge, featuring the latest iRacing news, driver interviews, race reviews, opinions, discussions, rumors, and more. Now here's Alan Pajari and Mike Ellis.
Tick, tick.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge, a show where we discuss iRacing in a group and casual setting. I'm Alan Pajari, and with me is Mike Ellis, Brian Kozer, Carlos Fonseca, Jonas Hankins, Brandon Wilkinson, and Kenny Humpe. All right, welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, Brandon, let's start off with you. We normally ask a series of questions for new guests. And so, why don't you start sim racing there, Brandon?
I started about 4 years back. I think I was like 13 or so, and I got into the NASCAR 2003, and I was, duking it out with all my short track stars. They make mods and all the local tracks on there, so that was pretty cool. And then I heard about iRacing when I was about 8th grade or freshman in high school or so. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I do some legend racing in real life and some crew chiefing for some modified stuff. So I was like, oh, this would be cool. Get on there and race the legends, see how similar it is, and race the modified and see how similar that is, and it's just kind of grown from there.
So you do real racing too, huh? And you mentioned a little bit about your career in real racing?
I started off in quarter midgets, just like just about every other young kid around here. We have a little track called the Little T. It's actually right off turn 4 at the Thompson Speedway, and it's a little 1/8 of a mile track. Quarter midgets run there every Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and it's pretty fun. So we went there, and then we got into some legend racing. And I grew up around a family that raced modified, so I've been spotting and all that since I've been growing up, and it's been a blast, and it's truly been a blessing to be around great people, and it's really raised me to be a respectful person, and it keeps me busy and out of trouble.
Very cool. What kind of equipment do you use, Brandon? Racing.
Oh, okay. I use a Driving Force GT Logitech wheel and force feedback. That really helps me, to be honest. As a personal aspect, it really helps, especially when you get tracks that are bumpy and stuff. It kind of helps you get over the bumps and whatnot. But I use that, and I use an Asus 64-bit computer, and it works out. It gets the job done. Nothing too special, really.
But you have to have different pedals for the Logitech pedals, right?
Yeah, I actually use Ferrari GT pedals or something like that. I don't really know the name, but they're silver pedals, and they're pretty nice.
Okay. So how often do you race, and what series do you normally race in?
Being around the whole iRacing Pro Series and whatnot, I usually run the NIS Series for not only for fun but for seat time for a future pro run. But it's usually the NIS Series to gain seat time and some tracks that I haven't really noticed thus far. I've kind of swung the short track route the past few years here, and I've kind of been getting around the A car now, and this season's been a bunch of firsts for me. Kentucky last week, first time ever on the racetrack. This week, first time ever on New Hampshire in a Cup car. It's been a lot of firsts, and it's been a lot of seat time. So I like to run the NIS Open and the NIS Fixed Series.
Okay. I also let you know that we have ran together. We ran together at Dover. If you don't recall, of course, how can you not recall running with me?
Yeah, I ran with Brandon last night, actually. We were running nose to tail there for a little while.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. Brandon, you involved in any leagues within iRacing?
Like I said, I really come from a short track background, so with that being said, I like to run Sim Auto Racing Association, also known as SARA or Sarah, depending on where you're from. Everybody pronounces it differently, but it's pretty fun getting a race with Ty Majeski, Justin Brooks, Cody Kelly, Casey Kelly, some of the best short track drivers. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We run modifieds on Monday, street stocks on Tuesday, pro and late pro and super late models Wednesday, Thursday, and it's really made me a better driver and better awareness, because when you get guys like that, heavy hitters that go at it for 150 laps, it's going to be some tight and some fast racing for sure.
I know of that Sarah League, and I've heard of that, and kind of follow what's going on over there. It's a very well-run league and very prestigious too.
Yeah, it really is. Matt Rolfe and everybody over there at Sarah do just an amazing job running that league. And, I've run there for about 2 years now. I've never had a run-in with any of the admins. No fairness to any certain group of drivers, and it's very well run.
Yep, good league. Are you currently part of any kind of teams, Brandon?
Yeah, I run with Nexus Esport, team in the Pro Series. That consists of Zach Hudson, Jordy Lopez, Shane Williamson, a bunch of other really, really fun guys to just hang out with, and a lot of good setup builders and a lot of guys that make me better. Todd Guerin, Michael Guragilia. He was actually in the NIS race last night with Mike and I. But, yeah, I run with the Nexus Esport guys. They're really, really good guys, and Zach Hudson's a great owner of the team, and he makes sure everybody's happy. And we always have a setup to go out with, and it's a great environment of drivers. Everybody's just so laid back, and it's always a fun time to just sit back and chat.
Yeah, that's what kind of makes a team, is good chemistry there. What's your most memorable race moment that you've had on iRacing there, Brandon?
Oh, geez. Everybody goes with their first win. But that was a Rookie Legends race, and don't really talk about that one that much. But I would say first A-car win. It was a Dover race. I think it was A-Fix or something. I nose to tail with Jay Beasley for the last 40 laps, and ended up duking it out with him, and ended up being the number 18 car out of 24 and got the win from Jay Beasley. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Mr. Jay Beasley. That's what I've heard him being called. All right, what's your most embarrassing moment on iRacing?
Everybody's had their technical and mechanical failures here and there, but probably saying something over voice chat that I didn't really want to. I have two buttons side by side for team speaking for racing, and I had called out a driver who at the time now is one of my best friends, but I had called him out over voice chat when I didn't really mean to, and it was over. I thought I was going over TeamSpeak, and it was over race chat, and that didn't really turn out too well. So it's either that or one of those mechanical failures where your screen just kind of goes black and you take out about half the field. So it's one of those.
Yeah, I hear you there. All right, Mike, you want to ask any of the questions?
Well, how'd your race turn out last night? Well, we'll get into that when we talk about NIS, I guess, huh?
Yeah. So I guess Kenny, when did you start sim racing?
Oh, I started probably about the same age as Brandon did here, but mine was just about 12 years ago. Whenever 2003 was first coming out, that's when I started online racing. Just picked the game up at a store one day and found out I could go online and start racing some guys, and that's when the ball started rolling. So I've been doing it for quite some time now, and now we're doing it here on iRacing.
Yeah, a lot of people started with that game. It was a great game, I'll tell you that much. What kind of equipment do you use?
Yeah, I got nothing special. It's a G25 with the original G25 pedals, and still sitting at a desk here racing and just kind of keeping it old school,
Single monitor?
Yeah, I've been racing on a single monitor since I've ever started. I've had a little time on 3 monitors, but mostly now I'm just on a single screen now.
All right, now we know that you run in the Peak series, but is there any other series that you normally run?
We usually dabble around, really. I mean, it's whatever track they're at that, we think it's fun. We'll go run, like A-Fix or even run like the B car most of the time. But most of the time it's just concentrating on the Peak series now. It takes a lot of effort to run in the series. So, I mean, you kind of don't want to drain yourself out by, going and racing all these other, series and trying all that. But so pretty much all the concentration's on that. And we'll just go, find a series one week that's on a, fun track, and we'll go have some fun. But most of the concentration this whole year has been on, just Peak in itself.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about the Peak. But are you part of any leagues, Kenny?
No, actually, that's one thing that I've probably never been a part of on iRacing, because that's kind of new to iRacing, really. Probably the past 3 years, whenever it first came out, you weren't able to join leagues or anything like that. So you just kind of get with your buddies and, pick a series and all run it together, get together on the nights and just kind of get into a race with each other. So, I mean, I've never been a part of any leagues in iRacing. Definitely something maybe once the peak series is over, you kind of want to get into, but I've never actually gotten into one.
All right. And why don't you tell me about the team that you're on?
Yeah, the team.
The team.
The team, yeah. Bunch of awesome guys, man. We got Justin Bolton and Cody Bias that are kind of new additions to it, but we have the originals with Chad Lawton and Kevin King, Stephen Gilbert. We're all together on there, just a good group of guys, man. They're fun to be around. We have fun doing it. We can build great setups at the same time while we're doing it. So, it's awesome to have those guys around and have their full support. And I got my spotter that's in me every race with Carl Taylor, and he's awesome. And I've been racing with him since 2003. So we've kind of had a core group that we've all been friends for quite a long time. So it makes it nice to get on here and just know people and be around the same people all the time. I think it makes it a lot better. So, it's just fun. We're just having fun with it.
All right. What's your most memorable iRacing moment?
I would have to go winning the Landon Castle qualifying challenge back in 2011, I think it was. It was just a single qualifying lap at Darlington for $2,200, and somehow luckily stayed out of the wall and was able to get that. But that's probably the most memorable moment in all of iRacing.
All right. What's your most embarrassing moment on iRacing?
Oh, I can't even. Definitely, I can remember. I think it was either an NIS race or something at Martinsville, starting in like first or third, one of them two, and missing the shift and shifting instead of third, going to first, and it doesn't bode too well for the rest of the field when you do that, and it's kind of embarrassing. But stuff happens. It happens to everybody, and you just kind of get to get over it.
Yep, it does. Now let's talk a little bit about the Peak Antifreeze series. It looks like you're having quite a year. Want to tell us a little bit about that?
Really, a lot of luck involved, and like I said, with all the guys on the team, we're coming with really great setups each week. And but the biggest thing is having the luck and be able to finish those races. It's been an incredible year. I never expected it coming in. I kind of figured we could win some races, but I didn't think it'd be, like we're doing and have such a dominant lead over the entire field. It's an incredible thing. And, hopefully we can keep it up for the last 6 races and, go to Homestead and be able to win the championship. But, there's still a long way to go. It's racing for a reason. You got to run every race and be there at the end. And so far we've been able to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to run down some little stats. There's been 10 races already. Kenny, you have won 5 of those races. You got 8 top 5s, 4 poles, and what I consider amazing is that you only have 8 incident points collectively in those 10 races, and you hold a 107-point lead over Ray Alfala. And that's incredible year. You're just really killing it. So I got to really hand it out to you and your team. That's fantastic. But tell me, did you ever think that you're going to have this type of year after your Daytona race?
Definitely not. I mean, it's something that I don't even know if this will even ever happen again. I think it's kind of been luck has been the biggest key of it, because you see, I mean, I'm looking at the incidents right with you. I mean, everybody has so many incidents, but somehow we've just been able to stay clear of everything. I think those 8 incidents may have came at Daytona, but it's been an incredible year. I just can't believe how lucky we've been to get through everything. The cautions and everything are just falling our way. We're able to, just be able to finish the races without having any trouble, and that's what everybody else has been struggling to do. Now, I did last year. Last year was my first year in the series, and I struggled to finish races and got into incidents and everything like that, but it just this year, for whatever reason, everything's just lining up, and we're able to just, run the race and how we want to run it, and the strategy and everything's just falling our way.
Hey, I want to jump in here and describe for the new people on iRacing what we're talking about here with the series. This is the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze, and it's actually officially sanctioned by NASCAR, and it's basically the top series in iRacing. It's a level above the pros. So you have the Pro Series, and then the top, Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the top 50 or something are selected and go into this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series.
Yeah, it's the top 50 people, and I have to thank Peak. They're not only a personal sponsor of mine, but they do a lot for the series and everything involved. So a huge shout out to those guys and iRacing for putting it together, as well as NASCAR. Like you said, it's officially sanctioned. It's a pretty big deal for all the sim racers out there. Like you said, it's the top 50 guys, and even just making the series is such a big deal. And just to be in it and say that you're one of the drivers and to have the season we've had, man, it's been incredible.
Right. Now, Brandon, that's one of your goals to make that series, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're kind of transferring back to the A car, and I've got great guys around me. Just like Kenny said, it's cool to have a team where you can sit back and relax and have a good time, and also make good setups. John Ouellette, Shane Williamson, Jordy Lopez, Nick Furler, everybody's just doing an awesome job. We had two guys get into pro this season. It was Jordy Lopez and Nick Furler. Nicholas Shelton came up just short. And, we were pumping out great setups week in and week out, and it's going to be something interesting the first season of 2016 for qualification for pro to see what we can definitely do.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, let me run down the top 5 here in the Peak Series. So we got Kenny here with 434 points. And then next is two-time champion Ray Alfala with 327. Is he just two-time? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep, and then we got Chad Lawton at 311, Chris Overland at 301, and Brian Blackford at 296. So it's I'm pretty good friends with Jason Miller, as the crew chief for Tyler Hudson, and he talks about the competitiveness of that series and how I wouldn't believe how competitive it is and the time you got to spend and how much time you got to work on the setup and getting the car right and everything else like that. So. I would imagine how much time that spends for you. So, just on an average, on a race week, how much time do you think you spend preparing for a race?
We try not to overdo it. But we usually, we'll run the race and we'll just take that week off afterwards, and then probably about the next Tuesdays when we'll finally start to, work on the next track setups and try to just get a baseline, really, them first few days, and then around, Saturday on the weekend when everybody can be around, we hop on and we really go at it and try to get everything we can done. And I'd say the average, probably 8 hours on a setup, give or take, a few, depending on how many people can show up. But it definitely takes time, and like you said, it's really competitive. I mean, if you're off just a little bit, you're talking, you're going to finish 20th. So that's what's been the most incredible thing is we haven't had them kind of races where we're off, and just been so lucky and so fortunate to be as good as we have been.
And these setups are really good group effort, right?
Oh, definitely. Everybody, you can't just have one guy out there making your setups. You definitely have to all be involved and know what you're looking for, and everybody has to kind of know what are you looking for and what to change on the car. That way, you're not just all running in circles doing the same adjustments all the time. So it's always good to have somebody different try to change something, because they're always thinking in a different set of mind. And it sounds weird for doing it for a sim game, but that's what it takes, really, to be competitive at the level. And luckily we have that perfect combination right now.
So what do you think the dynamic tracks will do for you guys?
I think I'm excited to see what that does bring. I don't know for sure. I'm hoping it does what it's supposed to do, and we can kind of move around a lot more and do what you see, all the guys on TV doing, changing grooves and trying to make something else work. Because right now, the way it is, you're kind of, everybody gets into that line, and we're all just kind of riding around waiting for somebody to make a mistake or, do something weird. But with that, I think you'd be able to move around and try something a little different to kind of make a pass in a different way. And I think it'll be exciting. They did add this past weekend for the last race. We had that dynamic weather, so we don't know what the weather is going to be in a race until it's time to race. So it definitely threw a wrench into things with the setup making, because weather changes the cars so much in that class, and so that's just something else we have to fight, and it makes it a little exciting, up to the race, because you don't know what kind of weather you're going to be in, and the wind changes throughout the race, and it can cool off and get warmer. So it'll definitely change the series up here for these last 6 races, but I'm excited to be a part of it.
So do you guys watch the Weather Channel to try to figure out, what the weather might be, or?
I don't know if it actually correlates. I mean, I know like Tuesday night our qualifying session was at I think it was like 79 degrees, but whenever we went to race it was 71, which actually hurt us because we'd never ran in anything that was that cool, and our car was just super tight over the long runs that night, and I think it kind of came to bit us. We didn't make enough adjustments in warm up to kind of compensate for it. But we were still able to come away with an 8th place finish, which is nothing bad. So we got a little lucky there, but we'll just have to do a little bit more homework and test just a little bit more to get the weather right, and and just in case the different weather is thrown at us. There is really no way to guess it.
All right, yeah, I want to do a little shout out to Corey Vincent for the win that he had on Tuesday night with that fuel strategy play that he did. There was a few guys that didn't have to pit at the end because they pitted around lap 110. But Kenny, you pitted a little bit early, and so did most of the field.
Yeah, Corey had an awesome car either way. I think he could have won that thing on outright speed or the fuel mileage way with the way he did. He had a really good car, as well as Taylor Hurst. I don't think he kind of ran it a little bit harder than Corey did there, and kind of ran himself out of fuel like I did. But that it was an awesome job for those guys. They you don't see those guys up front every week, so it was pretty cool to see those guys. And we did come up a little short on fuel. There was no way I was going to make it. I was just lucky to come away with an 8th place by coming down pit road that late and getting 2 tires.
Yeah, I heard a story a little bit while back, and I just want you to confirm if it's true or not, that there was a real NASCAR driver who took the opportunity to follow you around Watkins Glen to see what type of lines you were taking there. Is that true?
That is true. My buddy of mine, Mike Skinner, which it's not the Mike Skinner that's a NASCAR driver, is good buddies with Kenny Edwards, which is Carl's brother. And Kenny was always on TeamSpeak with us. We always talked to him all the time. And he came on, Carl got on there one evening and, was running laps around Watkins Glen with us. And, we got to talk him through it and told him where we were doing and stuff like that. And he's an awesome guy to talk to. You never realized, that he was just a race car driver. You'd think he's just one of us just sitting here talking, and it's pretty awesome to have him on there and be able to talk to him.
All right, and then Jason Miller also asked me if you don't mind sending me your setup for Watkins Glen after after you guys got it set.
Oh, I'd be glad to send Watkins Glen setup. I don't even know what we're gonna do for there, but yeah, no, I'm definitely willing to give out a road course setup.
I think he was joking, but he'll probably take it, I'm sure. All right. Well, anyway, congratulations. You're having a great season, and that's fantastic. So, anyways, let's kind of switch over into the NIS and talk about that. Last week we ran at Kentucky, and actually, I kind of found it to be a lot of clean racing, a lot of good racing there, and. Brandon, why don't you tell me, how'd you do at Kentucky?
Like I said, it's been a lot of firsts for us this season, really. Kind of go out there and just do whatever. We didn't work on Kentucky last week personally for NIS Open. We didn't really work on anything. We didn't really think we were going to run because all of us were busy first week of summer vacation for all of us. So we kind of just hung out and had some fun. So I ran the fixed races, and it was all right. I got seat time the first night. I think I finished like 11th or so, and then we went for it. I think it was Sunday night, and I'm sure Mike remembers Sunday night's race because I was coming off turn 4 with about 15 to go or so, and there was about a 15-16 car wreck, and Mike was down low by pit road or something, and I came off 4. I got a little loose, and I was checking up, and I got hit from behind, and there went my front end into Mike's car, and Mike said, I thought I was low enough not to get hit, but I guess you changed that. So, sorry to Mike for that. Everything was cool, though. Mike, I think you finished like 10th or something, but we ended up 11th that night again. So, our car was pretty fast. My sponsor, Jeff Darr at JD Marketing, told me to just, go out there and have some fun and, get some seat time, and we'll go for it next time.
All right. So, and you were also in the New Hampshire race with last night. Can you tell us about your race?
Oh, Jesus. All right. So last night was pretty interesting. We had a lot of help with our setup. A couple couple pro drivers and a couple of NPAS drivers came on TeamSpeak with us the other night, and we kind of got something together. Our main setup guys, John and Nick, they were on vacation or something this past week, so we got some help from some other drivers who are good friends to our team, and the car was really good. We were running I think it's 29.8s or something, 29.7s in race trim, so that was pretty fast, and so I was pretty excited to go out there and run, and I was kind of just playing my cars with my buddy of mine, Brandon Smizer. We were kind of running side by side, having fun in the back, just digging around, doing what we could, and staying out of trouble. There were actually 2 pileups of at least 12 cars each, and that kind of set the field. And so I got up to about the 9th position, then I pit under caution, make some changes, get 4 tires, and I got speeding up pit road when I sped probably over a half a mile an hour. So, went to the back there, and the lap car, I think it was Jonathan Dickert, couldn't pass me because he was going way too slow on the pace lap, and I got a black flag, went a lap down, caution, fortunate enough for the caution to come out, got the lucky dog and came back, fought all the way back up to 8th, and then it just seemed like the guy behind me had something against me because we're going into turn number 1 side by side for 5th or 6th. I think we were actually 3 wide, and the 22 just kind of didn't hit the brakes and spun us into the outside wall. We went back to 18th, and they gave us a 2-lap dash there, and I drove from 18th or 17th or so to the 13th position. That's where we finished. It was kind of bittersweet because we definitely had one of the fastest cars. Alan Lewis from Sinworks Racing, he ended up taking the win, and it was just bittersweet to finish 13th to a good driver, but somebody we could have beat last night.
Yeah. Mike, you want to tell us about your Kentucky and your New Hampshire experiences?
Well, yeah, much like Brandon said, it seems like both places there's some big wrecks with lots of cars involved, and I think I felt myself playing ski slalom there. They're high, they're low, and dodging, but I had a good week. I think 13th in the Open, 8th in the fixed, so got some decent points. Ended up not being a drop week. I was a little disappointed. That we didn't get to run the same package NASCAR was running. I was calling out Eric Hudek over at iRacing, hey, take the spoiler off for us and let's play with that. But it didn't happen. Hopefully we can make that happen in the future. But New Hampshire, I got an 11th. I'm really happy with that because I was dead slow there.
Okay. But let's talk a little bit about our Sunday race. Mike and I, we ended up in the top split on Sunday morning, which was for the Open. And we happened to be in there with Ray Alfala, Taylor Hurst, Brian Blackford, and Brandon Bowie were the pro drivers in there. But Mike, why don't you talk a little bit about how your Sunday experience went?
It was just crazy. The racing was intense. If you were in it, I was like holding back the whole time and letting people go, and it was just a wreck fest.
Yeah, I personally had a lot of fun. We did have a long green flag run in the middle there, and I was personally lapped by the 4 pros. And but it is a little bit of a humbling experience. So Kenny, we know how good you are. You're talking to guys that couldn't even compete. Dream of being able to race that day.
I was literally the slowest car there, and that's not joking. And it is a humbling experience when you're in that position. You're like, okay, I'm running dead last car on the lead lap, and I'm slower than everybody else. Now what?
Yeah, I'm sure, Brandon, you would have done a lot better in that than what we did. But yeah, I was able to move up through some attrition, which kind of helped me, and especially that we had one of those last lap shootouts, and there's a few guys I got wrecked in that, and so I was able to move up a little bit. So I got a little kind of lucky, but otherwise I probably wouldn't have been looking at around 20th myself. But it was fun. It was a fun race, and I didn't race the Open in New Hampshire last night, but I plan to do it again Sunday morning, and it should be fun. Kenny, you do any of the NIS races?
I haven't been late. I did run the Sonoma Fixed series there whenever NIS went there, and I may do New Hampshire. I'm kind of a fan of the New Hampshire track, so I like running laps around there. So I'm thinking about doing the NIS Fixed, but really haven't done any Open this year. Really just hadn't any really, I don't know, drive to really, want to run. But maybe on down the line we may hop into a few of them. But like you said, you got to race against all the pros, so you kind of can see, what the competition's like, But once you put 43 of them out there, it just ups a whole nother level. But that's one thing about iRacing, you can race against all of us like that.
Yeah, that is very fun. And by the way, how many wins did you get at Sonoma?
I think I ran 2, and I believe I won them both. So, yeah, 2 for 2. That's a good number.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you did. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Hey, one other note about Kentucky I have here, Alan, is guess what? It was single file restarts again on the Wednesday night open race, much like it was the previous week at Daytona.
So they made another mistake. Was it that way at New Hampshire last night?
No, they had it right last night.
All right, that's good. Did anybody run the 6 hours of Glen besides myself, Carlos, Mike?
No.
Yeah, I did not. I'd love to have been a part of it. We just never got our guys together to even put a team together, even run laps. So, I mean, I was wondering how that went, though.
I know my experience. It was a lot of fun. We ran the McLaren. I just think with the HPDs in there, they come up on you real quick if you're in one of the GT3 cars. You really got to be watching out for them, and basically your spotter's telling you when the next HPD is coming, so you know when to watch out. But it was Watkins Glen's one of my favorite road courses to run. So it was to me it was a lot of fun. Mike, I know you guys did pretty well. How'd you do?
We did pretty good. We were in a lower split than you guys, but Jose Pabon and myself took on the HPD car and ran pretty well for a while, and then he put it in the wall, and we ended up with 8 minutes damage. Somehow fought back to second place overall. I think we were 8 laps down, though, to the leader, but did finish second. Really good, real happy with that result, obviously.
Yeah, very good. Anyway, those road warrior races are very fun to have. The next one is coming up real soon on August 1st and 2nd, since it's a 24-hour race at Spa. So it's going to be the same thing, the HPD with GT3 cars. So I suggest get your team together. It's a 24-hour thing, so it's maybe best for us Americans to have some Europeans on our team, maybe a little bit, or some of you young guys like Brandon there who like to stay up maybe late at night. So
it's almost critical to have a mix from like you said, the Europeans or even Australians. When we did really well at Daytona earlier this year, we had some Australians helping us out, and that helped out tremendously.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
I was gonna say we attempted the Daytona race earlier in the year, and you're right around like that 2:30, 3 o'clock time. Everybody is kind of over it by that point, especially when you got a car that's all damaged up, and you're so many laps down. Everybody just kind of wants to give up on it. So I could definitely see having some of them guys over in Europe and Australia to kind of give you a hand.
Yeah, they're
later
just rolling
in the
out of
race.
bed. They're ready to go, and you take it over, and then sure enough, it worked out.
So if any are listening to this, please give us a message if you want to join us if you're from those countries.
All right.
Yeah, can keep it on the road.
I mean, it was 5 years ago. I would have been able to stay up all night, but man, not anymore.
Yep, you're becoming an old man there, Carlos. Next thing I want to talk about is the GT1 series. Brandon, Kenny, you guys ever try the GT1s?
Yeah, no, not me. Seeing me on a road course in a high-powered car is like seeing a first-time rookie to iRacing trying to race an end-pass race. And that's the most realistic way to put it, is trying to see a first-time, first-day rookie out there with the peak antifreeze guys. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right.
I did run the what is it, the DB9 whenever it came out here this past build. I did run some laps with it, but I really haven't had, I didn't really gone anything on the roadside here lately. I used to love it. I used to love running those tracks and going out and trying all the different cars they got, because it's, it's so much fun. But just really haven't had the time to do it here lately. But I really love the road racing side. I think I like to race, and it's just a whole different style of racing other than the ovals. You know, you're so close on the ovals, and you got the cautions to kind of help you out. But if you make a mistake on the roadside, you're kind of done. So it's kind of technical in a way, but you know, hopefully I can get back into that more. I'd love to run the GT1 series. I like the way that car drove. They've made huge leaps and bounds with this new tire they came out with. So hopefully I can get around to doing that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I just recently bought the Corvette. I bought the Aston Martin when it was first came out, and I bought the Corvette of late, and I just love the sound of that car. That car just sounds very powerful and fun, and
Yep.
it's a good series. I'm really enjoying that series. Yeah, you too, Carlos. You bought the Corvette recently.
Yep. Pretty fun car, if you ask me. I mean,
Yep.
it took me 3 races to get it finished, but okay, it's still fun.
All right, so I just want to recognize the top 5 overall point leaders so far in GT1, and so excuse me if I get any of your names mispronounced. So sorry about that. But here's Daniel Quattrapani, Francisco Esteve, Quentin Kent, Neil Koch, and Phil Blythe. Those are your top 5 in the GT1 series. So congratulations, guys. So far in the early part of the season, you guys are running pretty well. It's very challenging now since it's become really popular, and it's been a lot of fun.
Man, we need Jose to pronounce those names.
Also, another thing I want to say is that the Blanc Plain Endurance Series is going on this week. It's at Donington, which is kind of a short track, so that's going to be a long race for people in there. But one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people are doing these Blanc Plain Endurance races by themselves. And for some reason, their points still count. I personally thought it was a team series, but maybe it's not. But that's a kind of fun thing for you guys to do. It's 3-hour races, and so this week they're at Dunton, next week they're at Spa, so it should be.
Can you enter as a team or what?
Yeah, it's a team racing. I've been doing it with Jason Miller, and we've been having a lot of fun there. So yeah, it's a team, but a lot of people have been doing it on their own.
You'd think you'd get some sort of penalty or something if you did it on your own, but
yeah, with their team events, I thought you had to have that that where the teammate or has to least drive 25% to 25%, or what they call fair share. But yeah, apparently not in that series. So a lot of people have been doing it on their own, and of course, if you don't have to do the driver swap, it kind of cuts out on the amount of time they use in the pits. So they've been doing pretty well in there. But anyway, we'll just
I
see if
wouldn't
that
call
continues.
a 3-hour race an endurance race to begin with, but
Race them.
well, I've raced. I'm a NASCAR oval racer. I race 3 hours all the time.
Race these. That's all I gotta say. Road racing's a different ballgame.
Yeah, like that one time you lost your paddles and had to reach into the button there to press the shift.
Yeah, there was a race where I was racing where my downshifting paddle broke, and stuff. So I just had to make do and just use a little button on the wheel. But yeah, that's endurance racing for you. I also want to recognize the new guys that are moving into the Pro Series, both oval and road. And for the oval, we have some new competition for you, Kenny, that's going to be coming up here. I know these guys have to run the Pro Series. That they race during the winter. Is that correct?
yeah, as soon as we're done, I think around November to January, they do their little 10-week season to get in. I think they have to finish in the top 20 in Pro Series to get in.
Yeah, and it's so for the new guys, it's Josh Berry, Dylan Rafferty, Joey Israelson, Logan Clampett, Dylan Jones, Kyle Putz, Damon Burnett, Robin Williams, Ryan Borges, Nicholas Johnston. So congratulations to those guys for making for the Pro Series, and good luck on making the Peak Series. And so hopefully we'll see your name in there soon, Brandon.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we're just starting to get going. It's been a good year. I told Zach at the beginning of the season that, if we're gonna make pro or anything like that, we got to run this NIS series and preferably open, and to get seat time and see how what the setups do, and how the changes to the car, work for me as a driver. So, I told him that if everything goes good, we might make another run for it, along with a couple of my teammates, Nicholas Shelton, maybe John Ouellette, a few other guys. We can make a run for it as long as I got the correct seat time I need, and just gain more experience. We're getting better and better every day at this NASCAR stuff, and it seems like it's coming to us. We started this NIS season, I think, about 8th split, and we're up to second. We've gained at least 2,000 I rating over the course of the season, so it's going, and it's definitely getting there.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Very impressive. All right, let me recognize the guys that made it to the Road Pro Series, which is Pablo Lopez, Kevin Siggy, Martin Van Luzenoord, Pateri Todorova. Sorry for Finnish, I'm sure, when I'm blowing his name. Yanni Backman, Ricardo Torres, Diego Alibria. Oh, I don't even know how to say this next name. Balz Remenek. I know the next one because he races a lot of IndyCar. Cam Stark, Mac Backham, Bedrick Evers, Tim Berti, Alvaro Romero, Fabio Gonzalez, and Oscar Mangan. So congratulations to those guys for the Pro Series. Very competitive series, and racing those F1 cars. Kenny, is that something you got any interested into? Is maybe try to be a pro on both sides?
I thought about it. It crossed my mind trying to do it, and whenever you hop in that car, man, it's a totally different animal. That is probably the hardest car to drive on the entire sim. You have to go fast, or you have to go so fast that you don't even think you can make corners to actually make the car turn. And it's just fights every single thing that that's in your brain to actually go fast in that thing. And I've just never been able to actually be able to even drive it halfway decent, to be honest with you. And I don't know how those guys do it. And those guys, like Gregor Hu, too, I think, who's leading the series now, he's always been, one of the best sim racers around. And he's definitely proven it once again by, dominating that side of the series.
Yeah, he's very good. But I think it was just either last show or a couple shows ago that we recognized Jake Sturgos. Is that I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his last name
Sturgis.
Right. Sturgis.
Yep.
On being in both the top series, so I find that awfully impressive.
No, Jake's really good on both sides, really, and it is really impressive to have the time to be able to do both and to be, competitive in both. I mean, I think he finishes top 10 pretty much every time over there on the road side, so that's pretty impressive, and shout out to him for all that he's been able to do, because that's pretty impressive. And he finished third, I think, on Tuesday at Kentucky, so he's having a pretty decent year as well.
Yep, and his brother does them both too, but his brother's not in the Pro Series this year, but I know he was on the road side, I think, last season, so awfully impressive by those guys.
Definitely.
All right, let's talk about a couple new things that iRacing's putting out.
More road racing stuff, huh?
Yeah, for us guys that enjoy the other side of the sim there, Mike. But they're coming out with Le Mans circuit. They have that scanned, and I'm sure they're working on it, or going to be working on it probably after Nürburgring or whatever. But I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to that. It's the host of the 24 Hours Le Mans, and so I'm personally looking forward to it.
That's a big track, right?
Yep. It's really long. There's tons of straightaways and a few corners thrown in.
Yeah, one of the more interesting things about that track is that it's one of those places where they add in regular country roads to the track. So, I mean, these are the regular roads that people drive on, and then it becomes the racetrack for the race week, and then they take down the walls, and then it's back to being a regular road. So that's kind of neat. And then today, iRacing announced that they're going to be building a couple new cars, which is the Formula, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Renault 2.0 and the Formula Renault 3.5.
That's the GP2 series, right?
Yeah. Anyone familiar with these cars?
A little bit, but I think what I understand is this completes the open wheel ladder system. All the cars, right from the Skippy on up to the F1 car.
Okay, I know it looks a lot like the Star Mazda. When I saw a picture of them.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with R Factor 2, but they have the 3.5 in that as well, and it's something like the Star Mazda pretty much as far as driving wise.
So it should be kind of fun because Star Mazda is a lot of fun to drive. So
and hilarious.
Yeah. So
I guess my question is, when they announce these cars, it opens up a new series, right? Because there's no cars that compete with this. So is there enough road racers to go around? I mean, it's like so many cars and so many series lately.
Yeah, there there's plenty of road racers. But the question is, will it pull off of anything else? So, will the Star Mazda become less popular, or will the IndyCar road become less popular because of this? So,
right.
Kind of a good question, but yeah, there's plenty of road racers out there. So you can find a lot of races at almost any time of day or night.
Yeah, I'd definitely be willing to bet that there's more road racers on here than there are oval, just because of all the Europeans and everything. They're all into road racing mostly. They don't really know anything about all the oval stuff, but I definitely say there's a lot more road racers than there are oval racers on the service.
Right. Yeah. If you just look at America, is basically the oval racing area, and the rest of the world is road.
Yeah, and you could see that they're catering to that too.
Well, I mean, as a business, you can't blame them.
Well, I don't know. I'm one of these guys. I think it's pretty even. I mean, we got all the NASCAR tracks, and we got a lot of short tracks, and a lot of oval series, and so there's a lot of things for people to do on the oval side. And I think that there's a lot of things to do on the roadside too. So I think it's pretty even.
Just give me my green light checker.
I wouldn't want that. Enough wrecks as we are.
Yeah, I guess there is.
Yeah, we got to have that limit.
Yeah.
Also, that in September, iRacing is sponsored the Nürburgring again, and they are giving out tickets again this year. And the tickets will be valid on September 19th and 20th, and includes access to the suite, where you can watch the race inside or outside, and includes access to the 2015 Sim Racing Expo, which will be held adjacent to the racetrack. I'm assuming the expo is where they plan to be showing Nürburgring for the first time. So that might be interesting for the people that are attending that. The eligibility to win a ticket, you must be a member of iRacing. You must attend the race. It'd be pretty bad if someone won a ticket and didn't attend the race and wasted that ticket. I have to say that.
I'm not sure it's a win a ticket. I think if you're a member of iRacing and you're going to this race, they will give you a ticket.
Yeah, I don't think it's a contest. I think if you just send them an email or something saying
you just got to sign up. So, it's not a contest.
Yeah, I thought they only had 10 tickets available. And so I thought they were just going to choose 10 out of it.
Maybe I didn't see that.
Yeah. I'm thinking actually last year, because it's also on here, it says how to enter. So if that's just otherwise it would say to get your ticket.
Right.
Well, then you're right. I must have read that wrong when it first came out.
Yep. So it's send an email to contact at iRacing.com with iRacing GT500 tickets as the subject. You must include your iRacing email address as well as your iRacing user ID in the email. If there are more entries than tickets, we will randomly select winners.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Deadline to enter is August 18th, 2015 at 11:59 GMT, or 23:59 GMT is what I probably should say. So you will be notified via PM if you win around August 20th. So everyone that's going to happen to be in Germany those 2 days and you want to attend that race, send in your email and hopefully you can get yourself a ticket. All right, so that covers the iRacing stuff. And we should probably be wrapping up here real soon. So let's kind of start off with final thoughts. Let's start with Jonas. Jonas, you got any final thoughts for the show?
Yeah, I got a few questions for Kenny.
Okay.
First off, I wanted to ask him, is there anything you could tell the new drivers that's coming into iRacing? Is there anything you could say to them?
Just be yourself and, don't do anything stupid, It's just race everybody like you want to be raced. Because I've ran across a lot of this, and a lot of new guys like to just kind of be a little bit, aggressive. If you just kind of run your own race and, treat everybody with some respect and everything like that, you'll make friends and people will help you out. It's whenever you start, driving over your head and making stupid moves and everything like that, everybody kind of turns against you. But if you're just yourself and come into a race and just race everybody like you want to be raced, and everything will be good, and you'll be competitive in everything that you do. So, it's just put the time in and don't race over your head and just be yourself.
Right on, Kenny. I appreciate it. That's about all I got for right now.
All right. Brian, you on? Brian, you got any final thoughts? Oh, very quiet, man. Jose, welcome to the show. I'm glad to see you here. You got any final thoughts on the show?
No. I'm just sorry that I missed the majority of the show. I was looking forward to meeting Kenny. I actually congratulate you, Kenny. I've been watching your career and your excellent driving within the NIS. Brandon, you and we know each other from some time ago as well, when we used to run in RRO, or I even forgot what it was, real online racing before. Again, I'm really apologize for missing most of the series, and looking forward to continue watching your progress.
Thank you.
All right, Carlos, any final thoughts?
Nope.
Man, a few words. Mike, final thoughts.
I got a couple things. I want to thank, what's his name, for Bonka Boy for a review on iTunes for the podcast. We appreciate those guys. It helps us move up in the ranking there in Apple. So take a minute, go subscribe on iTunes and leave us a short review and tell us what you think. Thanks to Bonka Boy. The final thought also is I want to follow up on my pedals I got. We talked about in the last couple episodes me buying these new hydraulic pedals. I did get them installed and love them, absolutely love them. There was a couple challenges where it was misassembled on the slave cylinder. It was supposed to be washer, rubber, and they had two rubbers together without a washer in between them. And when I went and pushed on the pedal, it actually popped one of those rubbers off. And Michael over at Main Performance PC put a call in over there and heard back from him within moments. And he promptly shipped me out some replacement rubbers as well as some extra washers and got me set up again. And absolutely love the customer service and the product. So looking forward to continue racing with these.
All right. Brandon, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just gotta thank a lot of people. Yeah, like I said, I was new to this whole Cup Car NASCAR stuff at the beginning of the season, and we've made a lot of progress. So I gotta thank a bunch of people actually. I gotta thank Jeff Dart, JD Marketing, Jesse Abraham at Art of Ruin, Randall Falks at Randall Falks Photography and Randall Falks Designs, Brandon Smizer at Brandon Smizer Photography, Zach Hudson, and everybody on Nexus Esport. Definitely my parents for letting me do what I do, and all my friends for supporting, and just everybody who's really helped along the way. Matt Meir, Jesse Thompson, Eric O'Flesh, just a bunch of good people who have gotten me here. It's pretty awesome to see what we've overcome this year. We started, basically Daytona was one of our first races 2 years ago in the NIS series, and we that's all we did was just plate stuff, and this was our first real season, and I don't think we finished a race outside the top 15. It's awesome to really show what we can definitely do. I'm excited for the short tracks, Bristol and Martinsville. As I said, I come from a short track background, so that'll definitely be cool. Getting back to a short track and a Cup car, and maybe we'll see what we can do to get ourselves in victory lane. But for now, yeah, that's just about it. Everybody at Nexus Esport, Let's Race Magazine TV, sponsor of Casey Tucker for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, and myself, JD Marketing, Victory Lane Radio, Art of Ruin, and just everybody who helps out.
All right. Kenny, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to come on here and talk to you guys, and this is fun. I love doing this stuff, and I got to thank all the guys on the team, of course, and Peak Antifreeze and Best Overhead Doors and Vinyl Siding for all their support throughout the year, and everybody who supported me, and send me messages on Facebook saying congratulations and good luck and all that stuff. So, got to thank all you guys and everybody being involved in this thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, good luck, Kenny. We'll be rooting for you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to thank Brandon and Kenny for being on the show. I really appreciate it. We always love to have guests come on the show. It brings a new dynamic, and especially when they can talk about their goals and aspirations, and with Kenny about the Peak Series. Really appreciate that, guys. I also want to mention to everyone listening that Kenny uses a G25 with the G25 pedals and a single monitor sitting at a desk. You don't need all the expensive stuff.
Mike.
So
What? I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah.
I got my triples and my hydraulics and my cockpit, and I don't need all this?
Nope, you don't need it all.
Look at the bright side. You're still on a G27.
It's the beautiful thing about sim racing.
Yep, very. So it's a great thing to see that you don't need that. You can. We talked about last week about how much money to spend on iRacing, and we came to the conclusion that you can spend how much you want to spend, and so hardware is a big deal, and it's nice to see someone with the success that you have had that still runs on what I would say moderate equipment. And also, just to run down the things where you guys can contact us or let us know if you want to be on the show, or make comments, and where you can download the show. So our website is iRacersLounge.com. We got a Facebook page at iRacers Lounge, Twitter at iRacers Lounge, YouTube channel, which you can find named the same, iRacers Lounge. You can find us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and Spreaker. You can also email us at iRacersLounge@gmail.com. So I want to thank everyone for a good show, and especially thank our guests for being here tonight. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Later. Thanks for listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us over on iTunes and Stitcher. See you on the track.